My name is Swedenhjelm. I am the defense coordinator, linebackers coach at Newton High School. A little bit about Newton High School here for us. I was just talking to some of you guys here. The past 2 years we've been the smallest school in Class 4A here in Iowa. So that's been kind of an interesting transition for us. I at that point took over defensive duties. I was offensive line guy before that. Took over defense at that point. So it's kind of interesting. We bumped up from 3A at that point, so we spent 2 years with the big dogs. So that was a lot of fun. And then this next year, we are actually bumping back down to Class 3A. So it'll be kind of an interesting thing because, you're thinking about our system and what we do and things like that. The reality for us at Class 4A, teams talk about Jimmys and the Joes, that kind of stuff, more in X and O's. When we're the smallest class, we don't have the same, Jimmys and Joes as a West Des Moines Valley or a Southeast Polk like we were in a district with. So we have to do a couple things a little bit, I think, creatively in order to put the kids that we do have that could maybe play for a team like that in a position to take advantage of their talents. So go ahead and go to the next slide there. So how we set up our defense here, we're base 3-4. We play a lot of cover 3, but we're going to start in a 2-high shell every single time. How we do our things here, we do a lot of our stuff field versus boundary. Okay, so I set my outside linebacker is going to be a field outside linebacker. That's going to be kind of our dude, and he's going to be paired with a field safety with us. So when we talk about our best 2 athletes on the field, our best athlete that can play in the box a little bit is going to be that boundary outside linebacker, that field outside linebacker. The guy that can cover the most space is going to be our field safety. And my thoughts with that are, if we're not going to out-athlete anybody, so we're going to try to use this sideline as kind of a 12th player for us. Okay, so if they're going to try to attack our worst players, well, okay, we're going to give you a shortened box, shortened area in order to do that. So what we do, that's our alignment for our guys. Then we'll call strength by formation and that kind of stuff. So it's just a real easy, hey, I'm the field outside linebacker. Okay, ball set. I'm just going to wander over to the field, get the call the strength, and go. So like I said, we run mostly cover 3. It's kind of interesting. I'm mostly going to talk about the stuff we do up front, run game wise, stunt wise, things like that. But just a quick background on how we pair our coverages with that. Okay, so we have 3 basic variations of cover 3 that we run. We've got our Maverick coverage. Okay. Got our Maverick. Okay, we've got our Hawk. Okay, and we got our Bronco. Okay. Our Maverick is going to be our traditional cover 3. Our outside linebackers or whoever rolls down the box is going to be a skiff player, so seam curl flat. Inside linebackers are going to be low hole players. And then, like a traditional cover 3. The only thing that we do a little bit different than traditional cover 3 is that since our edge players there are seam curl flat, they will run with verticals. Okay, so it ends up turning into a little bit more of a pattern match, or closer to cover 1 really, than a true cover 3. We've decided that with as many spread teams that we see now, it doesn't really make sense to play traditional cover 3 anymore, or we're just gonna hit in the zone, do that kind of stuff. So we're gonna try to identify pattern combos and things of that nature first. Okay. Hot coverage, we always pair with one of our inside linebacker pressures here. Okay, so if we're going to send an inside linebacker, then we tag that cover 3 with Hawk, and all that's doing is telling our safety that's rolling down, hey, you're filling for an inside linebacker instead of an outside linebacker. Okay, and then Bronco is going to be our cover 3. That's where we're going to send 5 guys with that. So all that's doing is telling our inside linebacker, hey, you're alone in the middle. You don't have anybody else covering low hole with you. Okay, so try to keep that simple for our guys. We communicate. Our safeties will always communicate who's hammering down, who's not. Okay, so if they're going to go be the person that rolls down, they always yell mallet, mallet, mallet. It stands for me, me, me. The other guy will respond hammer, 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 him, him, him. That way that they're always communicating. There should hopefully, in an ideal world, these are high school kids, so it's never an ideal world, but in an ideal world, there'd be great communication lack of errors, that kind of stuff, but you know, they're high school kids. Go ahead and go to the next slide there, Nick. Okay, so what we do, so like I said, we try to take advantage of the talent that we have. Okay, so since our 11 are probably not going to be as good as them, we kind of have a priority of where we want our kids to be. Okay, so like we talked about, our Wolf, okay, he's our field side, outside linebacker. He's going to be our best player. Okay, he's going to be the guy that can make tackles. He's got to be able to cover. He's going to rush. Not this past season, the season before, we were very fortunate. We had a pretty good kid at that point. We'll see him in a second here. But a guy that you think is going to be your dude. Okay, our field safety has to be a guy that can run. Okay, he's going to have to move. He's going to have to cover a lot of ground. Then from there, you know, I would put a great nose would probably be the next best thing that we would look for. Somebody that can really disrupt people. Our nose, really interestingly, could be really, really good, or he would be awful. So it's kind of an interesting thing to see that. When he was on, man, he was really, really good. Valley game, really, really good. The center had like 4 bad snaps because he kept ending every play on his butt. So that kind of stuff kind of changes an offensive strategy. They can't snap the ball. They can't do anything. So I think somebody that really pressures that center, especially shotgun teams, that's kind of a big one to have. Then we start talking about inside linebackers and stuff like that. But our big ones that we look for, we try to fill every single time, is who's going to cover the most ground. So our field guys versus our boundary. So go to the next one there, Nick. Okay, so our Zorro front, okay, our alignments that we have, our rules for our guys here for an outside linebacker, you have a tight end, you're in a war alignment, so you're going to be outside shade of that dude, so your inside eye needs to be on his outside eye. Their footwork is going to be just like a defensive end, inside foot back. They're going to step and strike on that tight end right away off the snap. Other than that, 5-0-5, we've got linebackers, we call it a 30 alignment, 3 technique, but they're 4 yards off the ball. If we have trips, we'll split the difference there between 2 and 3. Doubles, we'll widen out. They're supposed to be splitting the tackle and the slot receiver right there. Some of my guys getting bad habits, get a little wide. We gotta yell at them, tell them to get back in there. There we go. You know, if we get some sort of power look in there, double tight, we'll just have double war alignments on each side. Let's go ahead and go to the next one there, Nick. Okay. So our base call, everything that we do runs off of sending 4 dudes, 1 outside guy. Okay, so our fire burn principle there. Okay, fire is going to be a strong side outside linebacker, burn is going to be weak side. Okay, so that's kind of where we build everything at. We feel like we always want to take it to the offense. We don't want to let them dictate what we do. We're going to go try to force what we want to do for them. Okay, our basic run fits here that we have. The rules that we tell our guys here: first guy off the edge, you're a spill guy, you're a quarterback guy. Okay, so if it's zone read, you're going to go attack that mesh. You'll have somebody behind you, so unless they're running some sort of triple option variation with a pitch guy there, you're allowed to go attack that quarterback. I really like what Coach talked about earlier there. If you got a quarterback that wants to read the ball, you put him in the dirt every play, he's probably less likely to start running the ball. So everybody that's inside is going to be responsible for dive, zone, anything like that. Okay, our safeties rolling down. Okay, they would be a pitch dude if there's a triple option threat. Otherwise, we're gonna really have 2 quarterback players. Corners are support. This guy's gonna end up running the alley there. So when we talk about our stack and flow technique for our inside linebackers, okay, the biggest thing that we always talk about is having open and closed windows. Okay, so if I've got this front right here, okay, they know that their defensive end is going to slant into that gap. Okay, well, this is going to be a closed window, closed window, closed window, closed window. Okay, so I'm going to read flow. I'm going to attack the first open window to my side. Okay, so he's like, oh, closed window. I'm going to go attack that open window right there. So for them, you know, that allows them to just read flow, their keys, guard to near back. They're just kind of trying to fly to the football as best they can. The thing that we've had a lot of really, go ahead and go to the next one. I think I got a video. So there's just bird, other way, weak side off the edge. This safety right here would be the mallet, because he's me going down, being the skiff player there. This guy's the hammer, so that way he understands he's going to be a true middle of the field safety there. So this outside linebacker would be responsible for skiff also. So if this guy tries to run a vertical, something like that, he's going to go with it and try to funnel him to that middle of the field safety right there. Go to the next one here, Nick. Okay, so if you can pause it here. All right, so we've got doubles here. Okay, so Zorro fires, so we're going to go to the strength here. Go ahead and keep running there a little bit, Nick. All right, perfect. Okay. So if we've got a balanced formation right here, automatically we would go strong left here. Most quarterbacks right-handed, so for right-handed quarterback, we're going to go strong left here if they're balanced. Now, the thing that drives me nuts a little bit, that we try to hammer into our guys every single week, okay, is ideally we're not really showing this. We're going to start rolling late to it. Early in the season, while they're still kind of going through it a little bit, I give them a little bit more leniency to kind of get down there because I want them to execute. But later in the season, by the time that we should be running full speed, all that kind of stuff, we should be shifting later to that. So go ahead. Okay, so you can see coming off the edge, okay, trying to collapse that pocket. Go ahead and go back there. Okay, we talked about ideally if you can go all the way back there, Nick, real quick. As we talk about like a play calling strategy, things like that, okay, we notice here, okay, they're probably going to have some sort of slide or back insert on this side because we got back away. So in a pass rush situation, I like to call pressures from away from that back. So sometimes we'll go, strength away from the back, that kind of stuff. So if they're doing some sort of slide here, okay, I believe that this dude can beat that dude. So he's going to try to get a really good outside pass rush on that guard. That's where he kind of collapses the pocket right there. So go ahead and go ahead. You can see we're rolling to 3. They take care of everything. Awesome. All right, next one. Okay, you can go to the next one. Just tight. Okay, similar situation. Trips. So now you can see we're running fire here. Now, one thing that I've noticed here, just the teams that we play, burn is really our go-to. If we're going to have kind of a default play, it would be burn where we're sending that weak side dude. When we have trips, okay, we've noticed that a lot of teams, for some reason, forget about that dude. I don't know why. And he tends to come free, so that's kind of been a really good one for us. Just coming strong side from the trips. It scares the death out of me because I think, why wouldn't some team just run bubble on us? But I think they get so used to us coming weak side all the time, and this dude taking away bubble. That guy was really, really good at eating up bubble that year. They just tend not to call against us. So go ahead. Come off the edge there. Nice and tight. Okay. Now, ideally, as a coach here, go ahead and go back. I would want that dude to come outside, that running back there, keep contained on the quarterback, that kind of stuff. But like we talked about, Jimmy's and Joe's here. That's our best dude right there. I tell him, hey, if you're going to beat that dude on the inside, you better win. If not, you'll get an earful. But, so he's a guy, you know what, I'll give him a little bit more freedom. This past season, our guys weren't quite as athletic there, so we had to really make sure they kept that contained philosophy there. So, gets upfield, boom, good. All right, next one. Okay, next one. Okay, so here you can see we have trips right here. So we have that outside linebacker. He's supposed to be split in 2 and 3. You got a little wide right here. We're going to bring that pressure away. Go ahead. Perfect. Off the edge. Got him. And go. Now, I would say one thing that we've thought about a lot that helped us last year, not 2 years ago, not this past season, okay, and something we're going to do next year, is those edge dudes are going to be our fastest dudes. Okay, I think there's a lot to think about in regards to personnelling your team, and if you can constantly get dudes in the face of the quarterback, okay, then that's going to cause a lot of havoc here. Okay, this past year we went with a little bit more solid dudes that we thought would be better tacklers, be smarter, that kind of stuff. And I think it kind of ended up biting us in the butt a little bit. So this year it's just going to be our fastest dudes. They'll come off the edge a lot faster, and I think that'll help us out quite a bit. So go ahead and go to the next one. You can go ahead and go to the next play. Keep going, keep going. Until you get to burn X there. Okay, so this is one that we started having quite a bit of success then. So our X gap exchange in here with our ends and our outside linebackers. Okay, what I've really think about here, a lot of teams that we play run zone, and when we can do gap exchanges with that, it tends to really mess up their count system. Okay, so then we tend to end up having people kind of running free there because they don't account for it. So if you think about like a count system, for example, offensive line wise, if I'm running zone, okay, usually he's going to account for one. They'll talk about out from the center here, so he'll be number 1, number 2, number 3. So same thing right here. Okay, he'll be number 1 if they're going to run it that way. He'll be number 2 thinking about that guy. He'll think about number 3. And a lot of times high school kids aren't disciplined enough, okay, to realize that, hey, he's going to attack my outside edge. I should be letting him go. And you see a lot of guys come free, both to the zone and away from the zone. So go ahead and go next one there. Burn X tends to be a lot better for us. We tend to run that a lot more. With Fire X, I'm a little bit nervous about that dude coming all the way from outside the tight end. So we tend to have a lot of hay there with the Burn X series. So we'll go to the next one here. Okay, so go ahead and pause it there for a second. Okay, so we got our Burn X. We're going to come from the weak side here. Okay, go ahead. Now as you can see here, they're running power or power read variation. Go ahead and run it back real quick. Okay, the awesome thing I love about running this backside to a gap concept like this is this pulling guard right here. I'm going to go all the way back here a little bit, Nick. So we got 77, here's a pulling guard. Okay, he's going to take path of least resistance, go with that outside linebacker. We've got an outside linebacker there coming in free, running right through that gap right there, make a tackle right on the line of scrimmage. So we're able to send our slant, ideally to that play. If we have that tendency there, if they like to run it to the field or they like to run it to strength, anything like that. So we'll send our slant there, try to build that wall up. We'll have the outside linebacker come chase that down through the B gap right there. Go that next. You can go tight. You can see a really good version from the tight there if you go back. There, Nick. There you go. Perfect. Same thing there. He's coming in, flies right through that B gap there, that guard, by pulling left open. Okay, here we go. Pause there for a second. All right. So I would say we run our Zorro front probably 65% of the time. Okay. We've done some under, we've done some other stuff. Here's a front we have called swipe. Okay, so that's where our Sam's going to walk up and play a 3. Our nose will be offset weak. Okay. So then we're going to run our burn from there again. So then our nose is going to cross face. We're going to slant. Outside linebacker is going to come off the edge here. Like we talked about with the zone system here. Okay, it's going to mess with their count system a little bit. So go ahead. So you got that tackle staying there with that end. You can see that outside linebacker come right in and make the play right there. So go ahead and come back. So when you run these teams, ideally they're doing their count. He's identifying that as his guy. Like I said, high school kids, they tend not to be the most disciplined. And that's West Des Moines Valley, that's the top team in the state. And even their offensive tackles will still chase that defensive end outside, allowing that outside linebacker to come in and make the play. Next one. Good view from, you're good. Next one. Here's a view from the tight.
Sorry.
You're good, you're good. View from the tight here, same play. You can see how they go on their track here. They're running their zone path. He stays at that defensive end. And that outside linebacker there comes in there. So like we talked about, we were really fortunate. That guy graduated 2 years ago. Ended up having 22 tackles for loss on the season, primarily by doing that right there, just coming right off the edge. So if you put your athletes in position to make plays, they tend to make plays. So go ahead, Nick. So we got a burn X here. Same concept. They're going to run away from it. Okay, a zone away. Same thing. Outside linebacker. Actually, trying to run QB ISO. Similar concept though. That guard travels to the inside linebacker. Tackle stays on the backside defensive end. Our outside linebacker is able to fly right through there and make the play. Okay, next one. Crisp from the tight there, awesome. Okay, so you notice there that was paired with Mavericks. Now we got Flame and Blaze. This is like your NCAA blitz that most 3-4 teams will end up running. A nice little variation at Glacier Clinic last week. I think we might just switch to this here. I haven't had an inside linebacker who's really good at this two-way read yet. Okay, they're not really, the most. We haven't had a lot of football savvy kids, so they tend to get too far outside, all that kind of stuff here. So we're actually just going to change this next year, where the end just goes in 5 and he goes right through that B gap right there. So I think that will be a good play for us versus just that every NCAA blitz that we have. So go to the next one there. Okay, Blaze would be the same thing, but from the weak side. So our system here, what we try to do, outside is going to be kind of fire related. Okay, so flame, blaze, fire, burn. The F's strength, B weak. So that way, hopefully, the guys can pick up on that fast. Anytime we send just an inside linebacker, it's a snake, and we label our gaps. Asp, boa, and cobra, so that they know which gap to go. So we're going to go to the next one here. Real easy here. Flame. So we got that, like I talked about there. So we tend to get this inside linebacker kind of in no man's land right there quite a bit because he kind of gets kind of a sloppy read from that defensive end. Okay. But then he's there to make the play. So go and click the next one. Outside linebacker coming off the edge, inside linebacker's coming right to you. Okay, next one. Okay, same play. Here we got a blaze this time, so we got 2 dudes off the edge weak. They're able to come down. We talked about if you got fast dudes on the edge, they can go make plays. Go ahead and go to the next one. Go ahead and skip ahead to the X's. The blaze X. Okay, perfect. Okay, so flame X, blame X, same concept. Anytime we want to exchange a gap, we just tag them with an X. This is another one, very similar to when we saw him burn and fire X. A lot of times, if you can get 2 fast dudes isolated on that guard, that's going to cause a lot of havoc for somebody. Okay, so we go with flame X quite a bit. This is probably our top pass rush blitz that we would do right here. Flame X hasn't been quite as effective, so we like to bring that from the weak side. So go ahead and go, Nick. Okay, so there you go. You can see the guard ended up taking. Okay, the inside linebacker. This one's kind of funky for some reason. So that guard right there takes that. Inside linebacker, outside linebacker has a free release to come on in there and make the play. If you go to the end zone view, you get a really good view of it. Okay, so they're going to run. Okay, go. Boom. That defensive end sees that outside, or that running back going, so he widens with them just until that outside linebacker can get there. Okay, next one. Same concept here. Okay, we got Blaze X. Okay, go ahead. They're going to try and run a QB power here. This does a similar thing. Now you got an outside linebacker coming right on in. Okay, all week that fullback's taught, get up on that inside backer, get up on that inside backer. Okay, inside backer shoots in there. He gets confused. And we've got a guy coming free.
Coach, did you have tendencies or anything like that that you picked up ahead of time? Or I guess maybe here's my question, what do you use or what do you look for to set up what you're going to call win?
Yep, that's exactly what we do. So we go a lot of tendency based off of strength, based off of personnel groupings is a really big one for us. So we go personnel grouping a lot. So if we know somebody's coming in, okay, then my guys in the box tell me that right away, and my call sheet's completely different. Okay, just based off of what they do. Okay, so personnel-wise, if they've been doing that kind of stuff, so we know, that area of the field there, they like to run quarterback, run game, that kind of stuff. All right, well then we're going to run, we're going to try to blitz those gaps right there. So we'll do that from there. We'll do that when we'll get into our 3-3 stack, and we'll do a stab check is what we call it. So if there's a team that likes to run a lot of QB ISO, they'll just line up, we're going to blitz A-gap or D-gap right here, the side that the lead back's going to be on and stuff like that. So it just kind of depends game plan wise, but the biggest things that we use are, do they run strong or weak, and what do they do in their personnel groupings. So, go ahead and go to the next one here, Nick. Okay, Sting and Wasp. So this last season, like we talked about, our outside linebackers weren't super fast. So we tried to think about different ways to get other faster dudes involved in that. Okay, so like we talked about, our safeties here, we're kind of our fastest, best athletes. So if we have our best pass rush, it's normally going to be that Blaze X, like we just talked about 2 years ago, is our best pass rush. Well, if this dude's not very fast anymore, okay, then we're going to get somebody else in there that can go a little bit faster. So there's our Sting and Wasp. Sting, strong, Wasp, weak. I'm going to go to the next one there. Okay, so here comes our safety. They're just kind of queuing it up based on what they've heard all game. Same kind of thing, you got two dudes on one blocker. Now he's causing havoc and going. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one there, Nick. Okay, you can see it from here. Here comes our safety, coming up late. Boom, causing havoc, making somebody run and go. Okay, next one. Okay, here's another Wasp. Coming through and going through there. So like we talked about, get your fastest dudes in positions to make plays, and then get to the ball as fast as they can. Next. Okay, here's another Wasp. One more here. Okay, good. Okay, next one. Next one. Okay, blast. Okay, so if we're going to run cover zero, we'll run cover zero. Get after people here. Like we talked about, our goal is, you know what, I'm not really afraid to, if I have confidence that our outside linebackers are going to get to that dude, I tell them they've got 3 seconds, 2 seconds to get to that quarterback. Okay, so they know they got to get to him. So if they can come fast off the edge, then I'm not worried about manning up. I go and cover zero with somebody. Okay, we go with our cover zero here. Obviously, we just do a count number. So number 1, number 2, 1, 2. These guys will be responsible for 3. So if there is somebody out here, it's not the best matchup in the world. If it's just a trips, then the safety will come over here. If it's empty, the inside linebacker would come out. So go ahead and go to the next one here, Nick. Okay, as we do that, our ends are pinching down inside. And when you got teams, go ahead and go back. Okay, when we talk about teams that like to run lots of zone concepts and stuff like that, ideally, okay, they would like to come here. But like we talked about with high school kids, when they think about count systems, they count it. Okay, they see some dude there. You move late into something, a lot of times they're not picking it up. So if the more you can disguise everything, make everything look the same, the better off we're going to be there. Go ahead and go to the next one there, Nick. Good, good. Nice. Okay, here we go, southeast poke here. Same concept. Now something that we would do later here, so if we got a team like Southeast Polk or Valley or somebody like that we know their offensive line is more athletic than us, okay, then we can give our guys freedom to shift right before the snap there. Okay, so if they want to go and shift into their gap that they're going to be responsible for before the play, sure, go for it. Just make sure you're just in the gap that you're responsible for. I don't want a guy cut off, so if that's what they need to do to cheat, that's what they'll do. I don't think they do it here, but later in this game they end up doing it. The really nice thing that you see with this, go ahead and come back, is by sending those dudes off the edge here. Okay, if you have little quick boogers right here, so these guys, I mean, these guys are 200 pounds, 200 pounds. Okay, so, I mean, we're going against Southeast Polk there, who's 260, 260. Okay, so they're quick, and they can get to the inside. All these guys are taught, you know, pretty much on gap help backer, so I'm going to help whoever's on to the backer here, so they're not going to pay attention to whatever's going on outside them. Okay, they're just locked into what's going on right here. So if we can get a little quick dude to get into that gap, he's going to cause a lot of havoc right there. Same thing, you can see he's kind of tightened up his alignment right there because he's got to get there. Okay. Same concept there. Okay, they can go make the play. Now, like we talked about here, all right, so this is kind of a funny story. All right, so this kid right here is the nose I was talking about earlier. Okay, he can be a freaking ass kicker when he's on. I would say about 75% he's not, okay? But we talked about earlier here, so this is play number, you know, probably number 3 or 4 against West Des Moines Valley right here. Okay, so a kid that, you know, he's motivated, fired up, perfect, okay? He loved blast because, hey, he can just go destroy that center. That's his job. Okay, so we call blast right here, okay? I love it. He's kind of a wrestler for me too in the winter. So you can see I just tell him go beat the crap out of that center right here. Go. Okay. He ends up grabbing the center, throwing them, that kind of stuff. The end of the play. Okay. Awesome. I love it. I get all pumped up because of that. Because now this dude's thinking, oh, I just got shit kicked out of me, and I've got to keep snapping it every single play. Okay. So I think a few times every game, if you have somebody who has that ability, man, let him do that, because then you can start playing those mind games with those offensive linemen and things like that. So. Okay, go to the next one there. Okay, blast and play. Talk about if you have fast dudes, put them in position to make plays. There's our fast dude. Comes off and makes a play. I mean, a lot of offensive schemes, I mean, you can't do anything when the dude's tackling the mesh. I mean, they can try to run zone reads, stuff like that, but if you put fast dudes on the edge and get to that quarterback, there aren't a lot of high school quarterbacks that are good enough to read that and pull that right away. So, we used to teach a lot, if you're a quarterback player, shuffle, squeeze, that kind of stuff. We're getting away from that because we found that this is way more effective. Our kids aren't athletic enough to shuffle, squeeze, try to get back down the line to contain a quarterback, but they're athletic enough to run straight to that dude and make a tackle. So, go ahead.
Chris, how much more time do you want? I don't want to rush. I mean, we started late.
Yep, 5 minutes will probably be good.
Okay.
So, okay. Same kind of concept here. Here's blast again. Like we talked about, fast dude off the edge. Hard to make plays. Okay, go ahead. Next one. Go to the next rush we have here. Okay, Harambe. All right. So we like to have a lot of fun with our defense too. So you know, hey, we're gonna put in cover 0 blitz here, guys. What do you want to call it? Harambe just got shot. So hey, Harambe. All right, perfect. I'll act like an 8 on the sideline as I squiggle it. All right. So this ends up, you know, if we ever need to stop, this is what we're going to right here. Cover 0, bring in the house. It's a lot like blast, but we're going to send an inside linebacker with it, man up, true cover 0. So go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, now, we did give our guy freedom here, so go ahead and go back. Okay, so we had it drawn up one way, but what I told our guys, okay, inside linebacker, strong inside linebacker knows you're responsible for the 2A gaps, so they can do whatever they want. Okay, so they're going to send right through that. Okay, you can see he gets a nice little open go there from that center. So they found that that tends to work really well with them crossing over like that. So they have the freedom to do that. Same call here, boom, come in. Okay, like we talked about, now I'm not going to let an offense come and just run down the field here. We're going to try to attack those guys, so we're going to send, we don't have the guys that can just stand there, read gaps, and go. So they're just going to try to hit a gap as hard as they can, find the ball, and make a play. Okay, next one, Nick. Okay, keep going. Okay, so then we do our stack front also. Okay, we keep our rules the same for our outside linebackers or our safety that ends up coming down. If there's a tight end, your war alignment, footwork just like a defensive end, inside foot back, you're going to step and strike on that outside or that tight end there. We can do a few more fun games here. What I've found out is I really like this against teams that try to spread us out and run because we can keep 6 dudes in the box. When we do our normal, try to play with that 2 shell, that kind of stuff, it takes a dude out of the box. That's kind of giving us issues at points here. So that'd usually be our answer. Teams are trying to spread us out and run the ball, is we'll hop into our stack front. So go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, base one, Mike Asp. Okay. If we're going to do this here, we're going to put one of our best athletes at this position right here. So we ended up this past season moving our best outside linebacker to that spot, let him run around, make plays. That way we can keep our inside linebacker reads kind of consistent by moving them to those stack backers right there. So go ahead and go. Okay, so here we go, Mike Asp. Okay, and I just call Mike Asp. So we talked about our snake series earlier. So I tag it, Mike linebacker, gonna hit one of the A gaps. All he does is go up and tell the nose beforehand. Okay, usually when we're gonna do this, it'll be a game plan thing. But if a team's running a lot of zone, then we're gonna have him hit that A gap away to where the zone would usually go. So that's just part of what we tell our guy. So he sees where they're aligned, tells the nose, fires right through that A gap there. There you go, next one. Same concept there. Now, go, good, next one. Come in, tight. He sees that double team, comes right over the top of it, make the play. Next one. Good. See that same concept there. If you got a dude that's fast enough to do it, eats up that stretch play right there because that front side guard kind of pulls. Or like that G scheme that they're talking about, same kind of thing. We talked a little bit about stab, check earlier. So stab, the waist, out of there, go ahead and go. A B gap blitz. We can also tag that with an X, just like any sort of thing. So the thing I really like about tagging things with X is it makes you way more multiple while keeping everything really similar. The X only tells these 2 dudes to do something different. So the less people that have to learn different terminology and that kind of stuff, the faster kids can play. So go ahead. So teams running ISO a lot. Yep, we'll just try to stab that side. Go ahead, next one. Team likes to run a lot of ISO. Try to stab it. Effective on the pass too. There you're getting to a dude. If you can get 2-on-1 on their worst, if you can identify their worst pass blocker, just put 2-on-1 on that dude, you're gonna get lots of quarterback hits. Terrible job with his hitties. All right. Okay, good. Go ahead and go to the next one there, Nick. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, boa. Okay, like we talked about, all of our inside linebackers are snakes. So those plugging up both B gaps right there. Nice easy run one. Leaves one open gap. So ideally, he's got one open gap you can really worry about. If there's tight end, this dude will be down here, walked off the line. So nice if you can control and dictate the open gaps they can run through, it makes your defense a lot simpler. Go ahead. Got Outside linebacker, getting to the quarterback. Terrible job contained by the end. Okay, good, next one. Okay, here we go again, Boba. Quarterback. Like we talked about, I think one of the biggest things that, you know, if you think about game planning for offense or something like that, they always talk about get the ball to your playmakers. That's what offense is always going to try to do. My philosophy on defense, attack their bad dudes. Okay, so if they have dudes that aren't very good, well, let's go attack those dudes. Try to get every advantage we can. Stack Psycho here. This is really, really good against a 21 personnel team that loves to run power. Because what you end up getting here is you end up having the double team right here on that nose while he's slanting away. So they end up coming. The mic can come right off that dude's butt right there. So that guard pulling around will end up getting him, and he's looping right over the top there. So if you have a team that runs a lot of strong side power, that's been one that's eaten up a lot. Because then their adjustment is, all right, well, we'll try to single team that dude as he's coming through that gap. Okay, and try to play off and base block, and then you still end up having numbers with that dude right there. So go ahead and go to the next one. The other nice thing too, like we talked about, find ways to attack their bad pass blockers. So I think this is a pass here, but if you can attack their bad pass pro guys, then you can get in their face. Next one here, now I just need to find somebody who's a little faster. That'd be awesome. You can see how that opens up right there. Okay, go to the next play there, Nick. Well, that last one here, Harambe, as we talked about, we're sending everybody. Okay, and there you go. So if there's a kind of a play that we need, okay, we're gonna freaking bring the house and try to get a stop here. So go ahead. Share the last one here. Same kind of thing. Okay, if you can get, like we talked about, man, these guys, those are guys that we have. We have plenty of dudes at our school who are 5'10", 200 pounds. Okay, we don't have many dudes at our school that are, you know, we're playing in West Des Moines Valley, 6'5", 260, that kind of stuff. So put those guys in a position to be successful. Don't ask them to go maintain a gap, get hands-on, read, that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to send them to do what they do best. So next one. Same concept here, same thing. Coming off the edge, get them to play off. Fast. Okay, next one. Okay, good. What we end up seeing is we have a lot of free dudes coming off the edge usually on this. Okay, good. All right. Very good. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything you want me to send anything, I have cards up there. Just email me. I also do all the strength and conditioning at Newton too. So if you have questions about strength and conditioning, all that kind of stuff, I think we have a fantastic program there for that. So if you ever heard of an app called Team Builder, fantastic, helps us organize everything. It's all on there. We're a one-to-one iPad school, so they have all their workouts on their iPad. Makes my job easy. I can tailor it to as many different calendars as I want, so I can go, hey, volleyball in season people, this is your workout. Football in season, this is your workout. Blah, blah, blah. So they can pull it up on a phone, iPad, anything like that. Easy, slick, stuff like that. So if you have questions about strength and conditioning too, I'll shoot you everything we have. So awesome. Thank you.